Peace and power. Grand rising. We are back. My apologies for the delay. And of course, this is community service. So it is what it is. I am back here with you all, and I'm going to go ahead and bring Brother Jamal on. We are in chapter 12. Chapter 12 will be covering the cell body. And so let's not be further delayed. Grand Rising, Brother Jamal.
Greetings, and salutations, Miss Pitts. Hope all is well with you today.
All is well. How about with you?
All is well. All is well. Looks like I don't know, we're having some sporadic technical difficulties with the StreamYard this morning. Hopefully, it does not interfere with the clarity of the book getting through as we continue today with chapter 12, The Holy Grail of Orgasm, Master Yao N. Morris here on Alchemical Changes, the book club.
Alchemical changes. Okay, so we're not gonna just we're just gonna jump in there because it seems like we have just a little delay. So I'm gonna mute so my
Yeah.
mic won't interfere, and then you can just take us away.
All right. I'm jumping in. The chapter we're discussing today is called The Cell Body, the Factors of Reproductive Health and Orgasmic Viability. In recent decades, special interests have moved to restrict or prevent the consumption of food products coming directly from nature. Many local jurisdictions now have laws restricting livestock on residential property. The planting of nut and fruit trees on public land is often forbidden or discouraged. Insects have been introduced that kill fruit trees. Growing food in private yards is forbidden by homeowner associations. Instead, the production and distribution of things to eat and drink have become commercial enterprises. At the same time, the water and air have been polluted. It is routine now for people to sell water. Worse still, the population believes that this is all normal. The grocery store chains are filled with toxic food, and the retail chains assigned to push fast food to us sell toxic food that is even worse. This has all been done legally. Never in such a large population of people conspire to poison themselves. Wealth has been created as a result, but only for a tiny percentage of people. An inc- whoopsie. An incredible cost has been paid for this, and the bill will grow for many generations to come. Comprehending health has become a full time occupation. You must read the labels on foods. You must study and research to understand what the labels are really saying. The chemical factory inside the human body is a complex and wonderful machine, but it is difficult to know all the effects of the various things we now commonly eat and drink. How can you do it? In order to evolve to high level orgasm, the cell body must perform at a peak level, but most adults today struggle to maintain minimal levels of health. The navigation of the diet and health maze is an extreme challenge. By law, I am not allowed to explain many aspects of it, as only the Food and Drug Administration can make certain statements. That such an agency exists at all is a sign of our society's deep decline. Knowledge is routinely regulated. Only medical doctors are allowed to know about health and speak about it. Keeping humans in a state of poor health has become a multi-trillion-dollar medical industry. Again, this is a testament to the insanity of the last few generations. In general, most diets, supplements, regimens, and health routines take a flawed approach to health. They are looking to make a particular impact on the body and are mainly looking at the cell body alone to do this. This will inevitably result in failure. An improved approach is to consider that the signals and intelligence of the quantum field and the light body are of paramount importance. Thus, at the top of our priority are the things serving as communication mediums between the energy body and the cell body. In order of relevance, these are the endocrine system, the seven glands and their hormones, the catalyst and enzymes and the raw materials used to make them. Third, amino acids used in neurochemicals, hormones, proteins, and nerve activity. Four, certain uh, pro prostat excuse me, certain prostaglandins and steroid precursors. Excuse me. Five, all active ingredients involved in the nitric oxide pathway, oxygen delivery, and glucose metabolism. Of course, human metabolism is based on the orthomolecular nutrition platform, not an organ-based system, as most assume. Furthermore, in the list above, there are some notable absences. Among them are stem cells, protein carrier molecules, DNA components, and key cell membrane receptors. I have left these off the list as the typical person without a medical degree will have little to no hope of influencing any of these factors without extensive clinical help. This is similar to how human growth hormone, excuse me, would certainly help our cause, but it's not practical. It is very expensive. The good stuff, hard to obtain, and you need a skilled professional to administer and supervise its use. It is not within the scope of work to discuss all aspects of all five categories above. We shall explore only the key two or three factors in each group. That is enough to get you across the goal line. There will be a summary at the end of this chapter. That is all you will need. As the timeline details the actual instructions, the interim discussion between this outline of the relevant list and the final summary will enable you to follow those instructions. Thus, this discussion is grossly incompetent. Stimulants and libido, solvents and emulsions. Sexual arousal is related to energy, but the signal from the energy body does not change anything unless there are stimulant agents in the physical body that can react. An example would be adrenaline or dopamine. When you take sex performance pills, ginseng, maca root, or any similar supplement, you are normally attempting to replace the missing link in the sexual performance chain. In the case of more advanced drugs, they are seeking to jumpstart the entire nitric oxide pathway. And yes, they work, but in most cases, the pills replace something that any 16-year-old can do without a pill. Most of these pills are stimulants designed to get you going or libido extenders designed to keep you going. However, a more direct route to achieve this end goal is to establish the condition of the energy bodies. Uh, Conditional energy bodies and supply all the regions necessary for communication between bodies. At that point, the energy body will modify the chemistry and line up what it needs to achieve a great sexual result. That is what tantra does in certain ways. With that in mind, we are going to have a conversation about sexual stimulants, libido agents, solvents, and emotions. All substances entering the body must be solvent or either water or oil. This is the foundation of all nutrition. It is important to understand that the liquids you drink are far more important than the solid foods you eat. You can eat pretty much anything as long as you do not eat too much of it, especially meat, so that the system cannot eliminate the waste. Since roughly half of all solid foods are toxic to humans, it is obvious that you can't eat them all the time without experiencing a major health setback. Number one in the diet hierarchy is water. More specifically, it needs to be good and natural water. Number two in the hierarchy is oil, but only certain select oils, omega 3, 6, and 9 oils are included on the list, as well as butter, meat fat, organic meat fat that is, seed oils, flax oil, and nut oils. Mid-chain hydrocarbons are also critical as they can be split apart for fuel use or reattached to amino acids for protein production once inside the cell. If you have proper water intake and high quality oils, you can produce most hormones that you need, as well as high density cholesterol, which is a prime building component for hormones and many steroid compounds. That is 50% of the ball game right there. Next in the hierarchy is digestion and metabolism. Twice a week, take food enzymes. Once a month, take some herbal or mineral recipe to scrub the colon walls. Next up is the thyroid. The thyroid and pituitary glands make the hormones that account for most of the sexual stimulants and libido factor production. Most importantly, the thyroid needs iodine. We used to get plenty of iodine from common salt and seafood, but these sources are more suspect now. My favorite source is a nascent iodine. It is a liquid extract, and you can simply place drops under your tongue. For reasons we shall not go into here, it is absolutely essential to supplement iodine, excuse me. Next in the hierarchy are catalysts and enzymes. In this instance, you really need to be strict in your observance of the protocol. A lack of enzymes and disabled enzymes are a chief cause of erectile dysfunction and less than rigid erections. The failure of female lubrication and arousal is often linked to the failure of enzymes. There are hundreds of components and hundreds of reasons for a deficiency, but the main mineral the main mineral driving most enzyme catalyst operations is magnesium, while the second biggest player is zinc. Both minerals are very hard to introduce to the sexual pipeline where they are needed. In 8 out of 10 cases of sexual dysfunction coached, magnesium is one of the top 3 substances prescribed as a cure. Hmm. We should note that most people eat plenty of magnesium, but it is either non metabolized or not bioavailable in the needed systems. Plant based minerals are sometimes hard for the body to digest, so getting them to the right place can be a real challenge. Hmm. It is now time to discuss the king and queen. The master king is testosterone, while the mistress queen is estrogen. To achieve the superior function of the prostate in HLO, the contribution of testosterone is absolutely essential. And that is
The expression of the
Matrix
masculine
three is
energy. In the expression of,
okay. Go
of
ahead.
in the expression of masculine energy, testosterone is a key player. Once the male awakens his master masculine faculty, it uses two hormones to bring his brain and body into harmony. With this energy, Where did you stop hearing me? Where did you
Yeah,
stop
I heard
hearing me?
like two or three words. I heard like two or three words since you took over from me, but uh, the audio's been a little unreliable since then,
Oh, great. That's great. I'll just start over. It's fine.
and I
All
see you're
right.
freezing back and forth too.
So I'm going to start over.
Go ahead. Okay.
I'm just going to start at testosterone factors. It is now time to discuss the king and queen. The master king is testosterone, while the mistress queen is estrogen. To achieve the superior function of the prostate in HLO, the contribution of testosterone is absolutely essential. In the expression of masculine energy, testosterone is a key player. Once the male awakens his master masculine faculty, it uses two hormones to bring his brain and body into harmony with this energy. One is testosterone and the other is serotonin. Serotonin is the spiritual side of yang, while testosterone is the carnal side. It is the action of testosterone on the brain that causes the aggressive and rigid behavior of men that females both love and hate. Its action on the brain and the endocrine glands is a primary marker that separates male traits from female traits. The factors governing testosterone production and action are energetic, not physical. However, the energy acts on a physical vehicle, and the organic aspects of testosterone management are very important. We have already spoken about the energy origins of testosterone, but here we will discuss the physical aspects. Testosterone is produced in the adrenal glands and the gonads. It starts as cholesterol, then becomes androgen, steroid precursors, and in the gonads, it takes its final form. Testosterone is not one hormone, but rather a class of hormones. Some are very mild in action, while other versions are very powerful. There you go. The actual production of testosterone is governed by the master masculine energy present. By the master masculine energy present. The higher his energy is developed, the more he produces. The limit is based on his natal chi level. In other words, the longer his mother carried him in the womb and the more chi she gave him, the greater his capacity to produce testosterone. However, most testosterone does not do anything. The vast majority of the testosterone produced remains inert, dormant, and unused. The pituitary issues a special hormone, a tropic hormone that causes the gonads to dump testosterone out of the storehouse into the blood. It travels to the brain and reproductive system where it can have an impact. This only happens if human growth hormone is being circulated. All male physical reproductive functions are directly connected to the secretion of human growth hormone. Human growth hormone is governed by the rise or fall of Kundalini. Kundalini is produced from raw chi and the emotional, spiritual, and mental programs of the subconscious mind governs this. Modern science and medical personnel are not yet aware of all these connections. They are learning fast, and genetic research is causing them to re examine much that they thought they knew. We could have saved them 100 years of research had they asked us, but in arrogance, they did not. Testosterone is normally present in the blood and organs in very tiny amounts. But when there is a call for it, the level may increase 100 times or more. and it goes to the brain and organs where it is needed. It reacts in most adult men over 30 years of age. Testosterone does not do this. Okay, we have lost Brother Jamal. And I'm going to start off. Testosterone is normally present in the blood and organs in very tiny amounts, but when there is a call for it, the level may increase 100 times or more, and it then goes to the brain and organs where it is needed. It reacts. In most adult men over 30 years of age, testosterone does not do this. The man's testosterone is locked up, not motive. These men tend to be abusive, destructive, and engage in criminal behavior. The testosterone is not fully active. When the testosterone is abundant and active, the ability to retain the seed is easy. It just takes a little training at this point to have an orgasm without ejaculation. Why? They are blind to the truth. They are blind to the truth. Western culture is patriarchal and does not grant a reference for the female sex. Males buy into this thinking. Men often look down on women as being inferior. In this state, the male is basically in denial of half of God. Half of God is female yin. Thus, this man is basically unreceptive to half of the energy of the creator. Thus, he is short-circuited, grounded out, and cannot cultivate his kundalini. There is no blame. There's not an indictment. Men will try to escape this mire if they can find the path. Leave the light on so they can find their way home. There are physical barriers preventing the expression of testosterone. For the most part, these are associated with an estrogen-like substance such as an estradiol, a female-oriented steroid. This estradiol and similar substances lodge in the gonads, prostate, and organs to block the motility of the testosterone in the male. This is called estrogen dominance. Some men do not like women. They may enjoy certain relationships, but no more. They want to like females, but there is a block. The energy work of females helps to unblock this. It is complex, and we explain this elsewhere in the book. These men produce a strange thing called sex hormone binding globules. Up to 20 years ago, science refused to believe that such things existed and denied the reports of indigenous masters, but science now has confirmed it. Read the book Natural Progesterone by John R. Lee, MD, a leading hormone replacement researcher. Men who have not fully developed their masculine energy cannot fully express their male hormones on the physical plane. The partial development of male energy leads to a male with only partial acceptance of the female on all levels. He may be a good man with good intentions, kind, honorable, and true, or he may not really like women much at all, but he cannot, by definition, fully appreciate, accept, acknowledge, or be affectionate towards and adore the female in all her glory. He wants to, but like the Amazon woman, he is impaired. The less kundalini he produces and the older he gets, the more of these sex hormone binding globules, SHBG, he produces. These block the action and motility of his testosterone. He has testosterone, but it is bound up. The female must release it. She has the power in her womb to do this. Many older men desire younger women because they instinctively feel that the stronger her the stronger energy of the younger female will release them. However, older women can also do this if they can forgive and release. On the physical front, the majority of men today are saturated with estrogen like yin hormones. Some of the sources of estrogen in men are listed in order of damage. Microwave food in low grade plastic containers, very bad. Listen, say man, poultry, pork, and beef that are fed growth hormones, produce sprayed with toxic herbicides, plastic water bottles and beverage bottles that are made of low grade heat soluble plastics with certain chemical binders that emit small amounts of high concentrate sterols that are easy precursors to estradiol. Okay. Some soy products, such as tofu, encourage the production of estrogen, but this only hurts men who consume large quantities on a regular basis. Sleep and go. Oh, excuse me. Y'all think they're spraying something, honestly, because a lot of people are just suffering with indigestion. But I digress. Uh, okay. Oh, hold on. Okay, so I can see you. Can you see me? What you said, Brother Jamal?
Okay. Yeah, your video had gone out. I was able to hear you, but the video was gone for several minutes.
Yeah, cause you're on here twice. I don't know what's happening.
I just rebooted because you told me I disappeared.
Okay. Um, I'm just gonna take you out once.
I only
Okay.
see one now.
Okay. All right. So, sleep in
Okay.
garments that
Hmm.
allow good circulation. Boxers are better than briefs. Men should eat hot foods when seeking to improve performance or bring special pleasure to the female. There are four food groups: hot, dry, wet, and cold, which correspond to fire, air, water, and earth. Men should eat hot foods for 7 days before a night when they are really trying to bring the heat. So if you are planning a special night for her, focus on hot food for 7 days. These include bitter greens.
When are we not trying to bring the heat?
Oh, honey. Yeah. These include bitter greens, chicory, hot mustard, horseradish,
Um,
cloves, garlic, onions, and peppers, especially capsicum, which is cayenne pepper. These are There are many more. Seeds are dry, not hot, but some seeds may also help. Lay off the sweets. When you want dessert, think about her instead. You should only do this diet for 7 days, but no more. After that, it will decrease you, not make you better. There's further discussion of testosterone and its
mm,
effects in the prostate section. Polarity work and the endocrine system. In Tantra, the energy work is polarity work. One of the dynamics that make the energy do what it does is the polarity factor. There is a yang polarity and there is a yin polarity. There are two, there two are alike. I'm sorry. In my mind, I keep picturing globules, and I'm just a visual person, so every time he said globules, listen, I can't. Okay,
oh,
okay, I'm back.
okay.
Okay. So one of the dynamics that make the energy do what it does is the polarity factor. There is a yang polarity and there's a yin polarity. The two are like positive and negative charges in electrical circuit. Yang does not always equal male and yin does not always equal female. And now there's a graph that I did not prepare. Hormones. Adrenal, which is epinephrine, which is day, and then steroids will be night. And the supporting amino for this would be phenylalanine, carnitine. And then the potential dysfunctions when imbalanced are obesity, low energy, orgasmic dysfunction, low resistance to disease, excessively aggressive in nature, excessively aggressive nature, and poor muscle tone. Hormones, we're going to talk about the gonads. The androgens is the day hormone, and the estrogen is the night hormone. And the supporting amino would be arginine and histidine. And potential dysfunctions when imbalanced would be PMS, infertility, impotence, hair loss, non-feminine woman or unmasculine man, lack of control of emotions. Pancreas, the daytime, oh, well, it says in, so I guess that would be nighttime, would be insulin, and then the daytime would be glycogen, and the supporting amino for this would be taurine and cysteine, GTF, and the potential dysfunctions when imbalanced would be diabetes, abnormal blood pressure, loss of sexual stamina, digestive problems, spleen, food cravings, mental imbalance. The thymus, the thymosin, it varies from day to night, and a thymopotin, the supporting amino, it's nothing there. Impaired immune system, fibroid tumors, certain irregularities of the heart, problems with changes of puberty, homosexuality. And this would be just the imbalance in the thymus hormones. The next hormone is the thyroid, thyroxine, and parahormone, and the thyroxine, yeah, it's chi. So thyroxine is the daytime hormone, and parahormone is the nighttime. The supporting amino for this would be tyrosine and carnitine. And the dysfunctions when this is imbalanced would be obesity, lack of sexual definition in body shape, low sexual energy, interest, hyperactivity or sluggish, poor hair, skin, and nails, chronic sexual inhibitions. The next hormone is your pituitary, tropic, and growth hormones. They are day and night. And the supporting amino for this would be L-dopamine. And the potential dysfunctions when imbalanced would be your high blood pressure, puberty issues, poor fetal development during pregnancy, lactation issues, erectile dysfunction, and slow cell growth, etc. Now, the last but not least would be the hormone I was trying to talk about last week, which is your pineal gland, the seat of God. And the hormones for this would be the serotonin, which is daytime, and the melatonin, which is nighttime. And then that is the tryptophan, that's the supporting amino. And the potential dysfunctions when imbalanced is orgasmic dysfunction, sleep disorders, neurochemical issues in the brain, and all of the dysfunctions listed above for the other glands. Now, the left side of the body is yin, and the right side of the body is yang. You have a yang lung, a yang kidney, and a yang testicle slash ovary. Each gland has a dual nature. It can manifest a yang side or a yin side. In other words, in addition to its four phase characteristic, each gland has a female side, yin, and a male side, yang. However, each gland in nature manifests this nature in different ways. All glands show this dual aspect in the way they are constructed. The adrenal gland is divided into two main parts, the outer cortex and the inner medulla. The thyroid consists of the main thyroid and the parathyroid. The pituitary is divided into the posterior pituitary and the anterior pituitary, and so on. Each gland has two families or groups of hormones that it secretes, and these two basic types of hormones have reverse attributes. In general, each gland seeks to secrete the female or yin type of hormones at night and secrete the yang type or male hormones during the day. It must be understood that men secrete hormones with yin feminine traits and women secrete hormones with yang masculine traits. This feature of each gland to alternate between two complementary sides is critical to its ability to remain in harmony with the natural cycles and other glands. Let's chart the operation of all seven glands through one 24-hour cycle. At sunrise, the pineal gland begins to cause the endocrine system to express its yang nature or male side. The body is prepared for activity. Imagine each gland having a switch that operates it, but instead of turning the gland on and off, it switches it between yang and yin. So at sunrise, the pineal gland goes to each gland and turns the switch of that gland to the yang position. It does this by secreting serotonin into the bloodstream and spinal fluid. The presence of serotonin or other catalysts causes a cascading chain reaction through all the other glands. When serotonin reaches the adrenal gland, it stops secreting steroids and begins to secrete epinephrine, which is adrenaline. This awakens the brain and tenses the muscles. The gonads stop secreting estrogen and or steroids and begin to secrete testosterone or progesterone. The male does not produce estrogen, but does produce an estrogen-like substance. This action prepares the body for sexual activity. Serotonin causes the pancreas to stop secreting insulin into the blood and to instead send glycagon to either the liver or bloodstream, depending on the sugar levels and the first meal of the day. Eventually, glycagon causes the liver to release glucose, which elevates the blood sugar level. This provides the fuel for activity and supports the increased metabolism of the day. The thymus hormones functions to try to restore balance if the balance has been lost. At night, they seek to balance out the system. During the day, the focus is on supporting the immune system and lymph system. Serotonin causes the thyroid to swing into action and the parathyroid to slow down. The parathyroid reduces its actions of mineral absorption and switches to nervous system regulation. The thyroid cranks up the nervous system, central, and starts secreting a range of hormones that transform the body's energies from a reverse state into a usable state. If necessary, fans If necessary, fats are converted into sugars or proteins are turned into carbohydrates. Depending on activity, the nutrients that the muscles need are placed into the pipeline. The pituitary secretes a hormone that causes the main blood vessels to tighten and constrict. This increases blood pressure and reduces stress of the heart if the vessels are clear. Secretion of growth hormones is slowed, but the remainder of operations of the pituitary are conditional. They depend on the age, sex, relative state of health, state of mind, level of activity, and overall sexual demeanor of this particular person. The range of activity controlled by this gland is so complex that I'm challenged to adequately describe it here. Suffice to say that the pituitary tries to support the yang nature during the day, and at sunset, the reverse happens. The structure of water. Tantra energy moves in a waveform over the water molecules inside the body. The body is considered a tank of water. Thus, the science relates to the kinetic movement of the electromagnetic energy in waves through a water medium. Thus, to some extent, we can use physics to study this energy. However, Kundalini is an organic bioenergy, so the mind and spirit impact energy flow. The energy can cross distance without loss due to resistance. Cloth fabric seems to impede this energy flow through resistance, ohms, which would appear to contradict the flow across distance without loss. The energy is able to arc across air gaps, but more study on this topic needs to be done. The nature of water has a definite impact on the flows of energy produced via projection. Structured water clusters of 6 molecules seem to work best. H12O6 also seems to work well. It also appears to matter if the water is inside the cell membrane or not. Maximum density of water inside the cell without the disruption of balance seems to present ideal conditions. And if you all want to know how to make structured water, you can just add cucumber or fruit to your water and let it sit for at least 4 hours. I'm drinking structured water today, so I know. Cell body toxins. The array of toxins includes the following: produce sprayed with toxic herbicides, medical waste from households, hospitals, and landfills that contain hormone disruptors, atrazine, a pesticide sprayed on wheat to prevent mildew, which is also found in all of our tap water. And it is also converting men into women. They did the studies on melanated sciences showing how a male frog that has been exposed to atrazine had a lot of female attributes. And I'll talk a little more about that after we finish. Now, we're going to get into the rest of this, which is the municipal water. It's tap water. Processed foods, meats, and poultry laced with growth hormones. Never eat or drink these substances. Corn syrup, cottonseed oil, fluoride, bread made with atrazine-coated wheat, not gluten enhanced. Regular municipal water is probably the greatest source of toxins that harm the prostate and testes. The United States EPA estimates that there are over 1,000 pollutants in most major urban drinking water sources. There are special toxins called endocrine disruptors that can harm the male reproductive system. These sources are mines, farm runoff, used medicines, reactions to chemical in pipe linings, etc. Most occur in very small doses and in parts per 100,000 or parts per million range. However, even in doses, in minute doses, harm still occurs. This is because the consumption of water is steady over 2 or 3 years. The toxins in the food are so numerous that it is challenging to begin to list them. We will attempt to do just that in the chapter on the male reproductive system. Comprehensive orthomolecular nutrition and care for the cell body. Water. Drink 32 to 48 ounces of good water each day. Clustered or structured water is best if you can find it. Most of what is advertised is fake. Oils. Do not consume an excess of oils. They are hard to digest. Intake recommended doses of omega-3 oil, omega-6, and omega-9. Twice per week is enough. Once a week, take 3 tablespoons of black seed oil. Once every 2 weeks, consume 2 teaspoons of any good nut oil. There's a book, Eat Right for Your Type, that concerns blood types. Your girl be on it. She be on it. Okay. Know that the body's main source of oils is from the fats in meat and fish. Do not overcook these foods for this reason. Roasting is best. Special note, butter, coconut oils, palm oil, and tropical oils are important. They become solid at room temperature. These short chain oils do not supply the hydrocarbon base needed for many protein functions, but they supply other needs that are almost as important. Eat as desired. Vegetarians will need to supplement their oil intake above these recommendations to account for the deficit from not consuming fats in meat and fish. Lecithin is essential for proper digestion of oils in the diet, but lecithin depresses sexual libido and arousal, so do not take too much or too often. Avoid cottonseed oil. It is a mild poison used in many commercial bakeries because it's so cheap. This stuff kills your arteries, which makes sense given that donut and bagel shops use it often. Also, please avoid mixed vegetable oils or oil blends. They always sneak some kind of foul stuff in there, and the labels are known to lie. Take 1,000 milligrams of pancreatine every other day. If it upsets your stomach, seek out a good food enzyme supplement. The pancreatine keeps undigested proteins from slipping into the bloodstream. Many allergic reactions are traced back to this. Minerals. You must tailor your mineral intake for your specific body. Only take in what your cells can use right now. You must supplement iodine, magnesium, and zinc. Most people are deficient in zinc because it is very hard to get inside of the cells. Also, there are no really good alternatives. Kelp helps, but plant-based zinc is hard to digest. Magnesium is the most important mineral by far. Most calcium deficiencies are really magnesium deficiencies. Magnesium is a base for 90% of all enzyme catalysts produced in the body. The body runs on catalysts, so we never get enough magnesium, let alone too much. Calcium and vitamin D are reduced in action without magnesium. Sometimes I tailor my diet just to get more magnesium into my system. For up to 3 days at a time, it is important to take one. It is important I take the L-threonate version and the glycinate version, and this is of magnesium. Um, you need at least two, but you may need different chelates. When I seek to lift a woman into HLO, I pay particular attention to my magnesium and zinc intake for 3 to 4 days before the event. Most people eat enough magnesium, but they don't absorb much of it. Take a nascent triiodine drops. Take a nascent triiodine drops every other day. Use a double dose. You will thank me. Most of us can't absorb any iodine from fish, salt, or food due to damage to the environment and lifestyle. These three are essential, but everything else is negotiable. Listen, I was gonna say, baby, I'm about to just pause for some water because it's just going on and on. I don't know what to do. I should have took more pictures. Okay, so right now, Brother Jamal, Butts, are you okay over
Yeah,
there?
come on, come on. You had me muted, right?
Hmm.
So I think you had me muted, but it's
Yeah, because when I leave it unmuted, it's feedback.
mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm like, baby.
Yeah, a mouthful on the cell body chapter here, chapter 12 on alchemical changes book club. We are still in the foundation building phase in this holy grail of orgasm. We seek to elevate beyond juvenile and adult orgasms to high level orgasms. And Miss Nina Pitts has been reading and having more than a mouthful with these words, these various supplements and amino acids and such. Many of you who've done any kind of bodybuilding in the past probably are recognizing some of these supplements as they're part of a lot of really baseline stacking uh, procedures or protocols that you use in order to build muscle and to increase your testosterone um, for muscle building purposes. Here, we're talking about building up things within the cell body that's going to actually alchemize with the energy body and the light body as well, so that we can have high level orgasms. And not just we as in men have our, well, we want to strengthen our own basic tools so that we will be able to be successful in uh, alchemizing and helping to orchestrate a high level orgasm within our female partners. We've said it many, many times as we've read this that being as healthy as you possibly can is paramount to being able to be successful in achieving high level orgasms. I know that's not the fun part about it, um, but it is actually crucial that we pay attention to um, limiting how much of these processed foods that we utilize and uh, reducing alcohol intake and such, even as we mix it in with having I don't want to say organic food, but food that has not been modified or soaked with an abundance of pesticides and such, which all things, as we said in the very first couple of pages of the book, they're legally poisoning, allowing allowing the food industry to poison us.
Mm.
Um, so there are multiple reasons to avoid that. Getting HLO, getting to be as healthy as you can, to regularly be entertained with high level orgasms is just one reason. Living and living a long time is the main reason. But we're gonna have some fun while we're doing it.
Right. So
So
I'm
you were
almost.
giggling quite a bit there, Miss Pitts. What were you thinking about? What are your thoughts?
Well, I'm going to get into it after. Let me just power through this last little stint. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So there are 12 minerals, which I consider to be essential, but I can make no general recommendation. Each race has different mineral requirements. Each blood type has a different DNA frame and thus
Mm-hmm.
slightly different nutrition needs. Your age affects what your cells can consume and what can cross the cell membrane barrier. If you cannot get into the bloodstream, if it cannot get into the bloodstream due to water or digestion issues, it is better not to consume it. If you cannot get into the cells due to oil issues or cell EMF issues or diabetes issues, then it is best not to consume it. Even if you need it, fix the pathway issue first,
Mm-hmm.
then supplement the need. Juice regimen. My suggestion is to juice 2 times per week, produce 20 ounces, and drink it all on the same day. Vegetables, carrots, celery, radishes, beets, greens, etc. Fruits, apples, pears, pineapples, cucumbers, bitter melon, etc. Pears are very rich in great stuff. Vitamins B6, D3, take one every day. If you are vegan, you must supplement L-lysine and L-taurine. Eat organic meats and learn to cook them properly. Do not stuff yourself. Eat small portions of meat and large portions of other food. This is a minimum summary. So much is left out, but so much diet and nutrition advice is rendered useless. It is well intentioned, but useless. The cell body is controlled by the energy body. Thus, if the electromagnetic fields inside the cells are off, or if the signal from the energy body is blocked, or if the negative electrical potential between the internal cell lipids and the external bloodstream is not great enough, all bets are off. The minerals and proteins and sugars become just dead matter. Notwithstanding all that has been said in this chapter, the following statement is paramount. Nutrition necessary for daily operation is secondary and conditional on environment. Seeking to cater to this as the main goal is not efficient. The cells reproduce by replication every 80 days. What happens to that cell for the first 79 days is of minor importance. What is paramount is that the cell has optimum nutrition present on the day it divides. It needs all the raw materials to make perfect copies of the DNA molecules. It needs the minerals and amino acids required to construct the most complex cell structure possible, make a super cell on day one, and it can perform in a superior fashion even with poor nutrition for the next 79 days. It will resist toxins and disease. Take time for that one. This is a basic platform for reproductive health, but this does not cover all body functions. The GTLS is focused on a state within the cell body that allows for optimum receptivity of the major, hold on, optimum receptivity of the signals from the energy body and brain. If you have diabetes, pre-diabetes, or high blood pressure, you will need a special personal health consult. These are recommendations only and are not intended to supplant the advice of a healthcare professional. Okay. All right, so we got chapter 12 in there and out of there, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Um, This was a mouthful. A lot going on here. Chapter 13 will be spiraling protocol for HLO or high level orgasm. We'll get into that next week. But on this chapter, I was laughing because I just innately, and I'm just thank my ancestors. It's just certain stuff that's already there. When you're a healer, you're drawn to certain herbs or regimens or whatever. And so these aren't just regimens for HLOs, but if you're on a path to superior health. And so I've always been into health. All those vitamins behind me, those are a lot of what he was naming in there. And it's funny because I just all the dang on pills, child. Once I get on my little regimen and spend all my coins on all those bottles, I can't seem I can't seem to keep taking them in day out. So I was thankful that he was saying every other day. And I'm gonna try to go back into those bottles on an every other day basis because or maybe because I'm fasting, I'm only eating every 4 days. So maybe on my fasting refeeding day, taking my supplements with my meals. But it's just a task to keep up with all of the supplements and the kelp. I got the iodine back there, the L-carnitine, the L-lysine. It's all back
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it takes up so much space because they were on my table at first. And I'm just like, now I'm tired of looking at this on the table. So I brought them back here thinking, okay, I'm in my office every day. I'm just going to turn around and be taking. No. Not being taken to the 10th power. And so that's what my giggle was about. And then in the beginning, the brother was talking about the globules. So for me, I'm a health nut. And so I was still thinking when we were talking about the prostate and the massaging of the prostate. And so in my head, it's just like, are the globules these because I know a couple of people that have had the surgery to remove the balls that pile up in that area, right? And so I'm just thinking, are the globules the balls that they are removing from men's anal cavity connected? Because it's just like and then I was thinking about the behavior. I'm relative in thought, so I'm going to always be relating one to two things together. And I'm just thinking, like when he says, you're producing these globules, and then you're looking at the behavior. So I'm always looking at behavior. I'm not always on my best behavior, but I'm going to be paying attention. Right? Sometimes I'll be with the shenanigans, and sometimes I'm just in observation mode. And so I'm just looking at the behavior because he was saying they're estrogen like, and then they stop the testosterone from coming through because it's blocking. And so there are a lot of men out here. If you're drinking tap water, and I'm gonna say because when I meet people and they tell me they don't buy water, I don't have no judgment, but automatically in my mind, the pineal gland is calcified automatically in my mind. It's like, oh, this one ain't gonna be too bright because everybody knows that they finding drugs and everything in tap water. You're just not supposed to be drinking. And so I went and I had a visit, and there was only tap water. And I didn't pack a lot of water in my car. And honestly, I was just being lazy. Didn't go to the car to get the water that was there to inspect. But overall, I had this big cup of tap water. Listen, baby. You talking about somebody going down fast?
What?
I never catch headaches, ever. Immediately, I was down 3 days last week with a headache. 3
Oh,
full
wow.
days. Huge migraine. Every time I moved, it was just like, dang, what happened? And I can only think pollution. That's what you get. You can't be over there doing what everybody's doing. Right? So I have been detoxing ever since because I study stuff like the blood-brain barrier and stuff like that. And it's just so much they're putting in the water. I just felt like I open myself up to whatever's in that water, and then I'm a water drinker. So once I ran out, I'm thirsty, so I get a big cup. I don't just go and get a normal glass. And I went down fast. And I can only think if somebody's consuming this every day, they're
Mm-hmm.
not detoxing or cleansing their pineal gland or any of the glands. They're not drinking teas, herbals, just not doing anything. And you're taking out all these toxins. They're finding over 500 drugs any given time in any tap water in any municipality all across the
Mm-hmm.
U.S. And so
Right.
you should not be drinking. So that happened. That was a giggle for me, like, girl. And then the other couple of things he was talking about was just the iodine. Me personally, I had went on a well, I'm on a health journey. So I had got my blood ran, all the things that the doctor is not going to run on your blood work
Mm-hmm.
or tell you about or ask about. I did that. So when you go for your yearly checkup, they don't check your blood for everything. They check in for what the insurance gonna pay for. So you have to independently go and find somebody who's gonna run your blood, and you have to specifically ask them to check for different things. So I'm in a health group, and we got our blood work done, and it was to determine what we were deficient in, and that's how I ended up with all those bottles of vitamins. The doctor looked at it
Mm.
and told me all those
Okay.
vitamins and stuff that I needed, and it was a lot. And so iodine, something so simple, a lot of people are deficient in it, and so. Like he said, when you trying to get it naturally, it's hard to digest. So I got kelp back there, all the things, but it's just like, please get your blood work done. The
Mm-hmm.
yearly checkup is just not enough. You have to be educated when it comes to you, and get the book, Eat for Your Blood Type. This is a good book. It's a thick book. I have on my refrigerator two different blood types, because in the household with two different blood types. But what you're supposed to eat on a daily, because a lot of people be trying to be vegan. I meet people that just eat meat only. I was doing keto for a long time. All this is a farce. We all have different blood types and DNA structures. And so you really should just get more into yourself, dissecting what it is that you're supposed to be eating. This is not a one size fit all thing, and it's
Right.
definitely not a male woman versus man thing. It's no, yeah. Because I used to think, oh, men supposed to eat meat. It's like, no, your blood type is what you're supposed to be eating by. And then when I loved when he said that we all have masculine and feminine. I try to explain this to men. You tell a man that he has feminine in him, baby, he finna put you on a list of targets. Because every time you say it, he gonna get mad over the. But we all have masculine and feminine. I'm so glad he said it in here. I will say it over and over again. Just because you are a man does not mean you're masculine. It just does not. We all have water, air, earth, and fire in us as well. And so no person is going to be the same. And it's definitely not going to be just because you were born with a penis or a vagina. That it just doesn't work that way. And so we learned this in astrology, and you try to explain it, people demonize astrology. They can't seem to receive it if they don't understand it. All the things. I don't even explain them more. I just talk astrology mostly to my close friends because they know I'm into it, or the people that studied astrology with me. Because we sit back and kiki about it, but just in general, everybody has different makeup. Your chart might be a whole lot more feminine, and if you just embrace that instead of trying to be over masculine to compensate,
Mm-hmm.
life be just a whole lot easier. Just know you. That's what astrology is, knowledge of self. And so those are the little key points that stuck out to me. What about you, Brother Butts?
Mm. Uh, yeah, as I was saying, some not long ago, is that this chapter is again part of that foundation and of being as healthy as we possibly can. And yeah, there were a lot of components of it already familiar to me. Obviously, journey that I'm on, been on for a minute. Um, and some pieces from my other lifestyles as well. When I was into powerlifting, we stacked with a lot of iodine and amino acids and creatinine and whatnot, making sure that the testosterone levels were up, that we're able to recover as quickly as we possibly can, build on muscle as quickly as we possibly can, as much as we possibly can. I know we're talking about different tools, but we are still talking about the body. And so when we get back to this, um, we definitely need to make sure not only that we're taking in the appropriate supplements and eating food that is as healthy as you possibly can eat, but also that we are combining the appropriate things during those meals so that the things we're taking in are being absorbed properly. And I cannot stress that enough. When you're following some of these detox recipes or you're following some of the juicing recipes, and they say they're for this or they're for that, and then you leave out an element because you don't like banana or you don't like kiwi, or you can't handle hot stuff, so you didn't put the cayenne in there, or you took the turmeric and didn't add the black pepper. Well, you're limiting how those things are going to be absorbed in your body. So I'm just going to that's my PSA today, is that if you're following trusted recipes for juices and detoxes and such, that you follow them to the letter, because they are going to allow for the greatest absorption of the nutrients that you're trying to incorporate into the various cells for improved health. So, um, the the other thing that kind of jumped out at me with this particular chapter is that it initially said something about being um, energy. I'm sorry, I just saw a little something. What is that? Oh, okay. Sorry, distracted.
That's
My,
cool.
I have some peeling skin on my knee. Mm,
Mm.
oh my. But a healthier body leads to a healthier mind.
Wow.
Ah, and a mind concentrating on health leads to healthier body. There we go. And all these achieve high level orgasms on purpose and with frequency to help our partners to generate high level orgasms on purpose and with frequency. And that's the other piece that was kind of reiterated by Master Morris in this particular chapter, that what we do for our own bodies to improve the status of our own bodies and to make sure our own cells are the best, in the best condition that they are second are really, it is, yes, we're the primary recipient of the benefits, sure, but with respect to what we're talking about in this book, high level orgasms, uh, I just want to repeat, our mission, my mission, is to be able to give my female partner, lead her to a high level orgasm. Likewise, the intention of the feminine, the female, should be to be all she can be and do all she can do so that she can generate or initiate or help lead the male to a high level orgasm. And so, this is the tantric way. And this is what Master Mars is teaching us as we go through this book. And we're coming up on the end of it in just a couple of weeks. Hopefully, if you just jumped in on some of the latter chapters, that you've had a chance to review all of the first ones in order to have the appropriate building blocks as we move along. So there we go.
Okay, so
And one thing that you said, I want to say this. I think, and not to be too, I'm not trying to be defensive, but what I say, I don't, there's not that there's not any truth in there being masculine and feminine entities, energies, from astrology to anything. I think that the problem comes into place for most people becoming defensive about it is because it is rarely done. I'm big on it being message to receiver. So you
Mm-hmm.
can say a truth a certain way and it won't be adequately received because of the way that you delivered the truth.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times when these truths are being espoused or shared with people, it
Mm-hmm.
is in a negative manner. A lot of times, I'm not saying you, but I'm saying far too often men and women are saying something about, oh, she's that's why you're so masculine. Why are you so masculine? Oh, why are you so feminine? Oh, I know why you did that because that's that feminine in you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Not the
Yeah.
greatest, not the
I
greatest presentation if you're trying to get somebody to acknowledge a truth
well, I don't think.
about themselves, because those are foundational truths that exist. Yes, estrogen and testosterone exist in us. In us, there are masculine, feminine um, components,
Mm-hmm.
or there's another word I'm looking for. It's not from the astrological side of it, and I'll think of it in a minute. But those are absolute truths, but they're harder to swallow, to digest, or to receive because of some presentations. So,
Well, I say for me, in my experiences, the number one issue is society. The going back and forth for the masculine and feminine because
mhm,
people
mhm,
use it as a weapon because they don't know. You get what I'm saying? When you don't
yeah,
know, you'll use something out of context. And so that's one of the
mhm,
things. But the biggest issue is men mostly when they don't understand something and it's something that they have not studied, they cannot seem to learn anything from women. And this is because I date men. I'm not saying all, but most of the time, if they can't be the expert on all the topics, it's just shunned or dismissed. And so, me personally, I'm not going to present in particular to different people in different ways. The message is for who is receptive of it, as always. Baby, say it, just gonna say it, and it's gonna be blunt, and it's either you receive it or not. You know me, you know it is not my intention to use astrology as a weapon, but in our society, the religion, I mean, you can tell people a million times in the Bible they use astrology to define baby Jesus. Baby, they want to shun and separate astrology as if in the first 7 days the stars wasn't created, child. So I just don't get into it. When I first got into astrology, I used to be going back and forth with that. Now I just ignore people because I understand. No matter how I try to explain, no matter how I say it, it's gonna be people who the message is for, and so whoever it's for, they'll go and research what the hell is being said. Other people, they want to be offended by everything. That's why I don't shape no messages that I have. I don't shape none of my messages. You're going to get this work, and then you're going to go research on your own, or you don't. I really don't care, especially in dating. I have dated this whole full year. If I say anything about astrology, masculine and feminine, child, the men's is out here thinking that they're authority, and it's not just the men in the masculines. It's like if you have a degree, you think you're here with people, and so if you don't know the astrology, you have to dismiss it down. How dare you know something outside of something, and I have a degree? It's all types out here. So I just learned to discuss it, like I said, with my family and friends. I use it to help. Like my sister Kyle, she tell me what she dealing with. First thing I tell my sister, let me pull up your chart. And I try to explain to my sister what she's going through in her chart so she's not responding in a certain type of way. If it's my male friends, and this is loose and far in between, because if you don't understand, I'm not going to be trying to teach it to you. I took years out to study astrology. I ain't no teacher, so I don't have the patience for it. But if they ask something like when to play the lottery, I can pull your chart and tell you what your lucky days are. You get what I'm saying? So I keep very simple when it comes to my male friends. Women
Mm-hmm.
that I know that don't know it, but they trust me, I'll break their chart all the way down. People pay me to break their chart all the way down. And so those are the people that is the message is for. But if I generally just bring it up and be like, oh, okay, yes, it'll be just like, okay, if I'm dating a Cancer man, I let them know, yes, Cancer is water. It is feminine. And so that don't mean you're feminine. It means Cancer is water, is feminine. And so you just you type of man that's gonna love on a woman. It has nothing to do with you putting pants on one leg at a time and your bowels being big. And that's the problem. It's like it means you're gonna be a more loving man because it's water, it's feminine. Cancer is the mother in astrology. And so I used to be explaining this on high. Now I just talk to it to because it's just like even with when we was reading the Kabbalion, that information is for elite few. The Kabbalion is not for everybody to read. They have told you that the book is evil, but when you read it, it said this is for the teachers. These are the select elite who understand this information. It's not for everybody. And I read online every year for like 5 years in a row because I felt like this is an important piece of information that everybody should read. But nonetheless, astrology is no different. It is for those who are into higher learning. Just like these books, Master Morris, this is for the higher learning people. This ain't for people out there just trying to get a nut. That ain't what this is for. He's talked about health. He's talked about your cellular levels. He's talked about detoxing. He's talked about your projection of your energy, the kundalini. This ain't for people that just trying to bust a nut. It's just not. And so I know a lot of people, my homegirl said to me when we first started reading, she said that when you're talking to people, they're more receptive if you're not saying you should this, that, but if you keep the we. And so we read a book in my Forex group called How to Make Friends and Influence People. And they spoke on that in there. And like I said, these books ain't just for the average Joe. Everybody's also not a reader. And so when you see all this social media stuff, that's why I'm not influenced or moved by any of it because I'm reading and I'm in elite groups in the background and we're studying specific stuff. If I wanted to be an influencer, we read that book years ago. You can go through the book list, it's there. The 4 Agreements. This is another book for the elite people who are trying to be balanced. The 4 Agreements is a beautiful book. It's not too long, jam-packed with just good, solid information. But again, you still have those class of people that try to be offended by everything. And so I've never been a people pleaser. I've always been solo dolo. And so if you know me, you have to be around a little while just to see that astrology is just like anything else. It's not a weapon, but when you know what you can speak on it and just be clear.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the men I date, and this is just men I date, they are highly offended if you looking at their chart and say anything about feminine, honey. It's an issue. And they'll put you on a little list. And then, and then you're on the hit list. And listen.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I do is I'll just secretly pull the chart and then I just never bring it up. They'll want to know when they can hit the lottery. But if you talking about any other aspects of that chart, baby, it's a war, okay? And so I just learned just to pull the chart, and me and my friends just look at it, and I go from there. I used to be like, oh, well, let me try to help you to see what's here. I've learned that I'm not the therapist. I'm not the free chart reader, like none of that. And so me and my homegirl, we look over the charts, and that does determine our date in community. It does determine how serious I take a person. And if I'm looking at your chart and you a liar, a woman abuser, any of that is in your chart, I just don't even proceed. Because I'm always looking, baby. Let me know when your birthday is. It's going to be in the back of my mind, and I'm going to be putting the chart because it's like, I don't want to waste time. You can move around with it. But I get what you're saying. Long story short. But back to the
Hmm.
structured water. So last week I researched the water, and I decided this week I was gonna go and get me some cucumber because I'm water fasting. And so I put cucumber in here. In the research I found you can put lime, key lime, 2 key limes per gallon. I also put peppermint leaf in here. I have a peppermint bush. And so you let it sit for 4 hours and it restructures the water. I also am intaking well water. I prefer water from the earth. And so I want a well so bad. I want to dig a well so bad. Maybe I should just start digging a hole in my yard and just keep going. I want a well so bad.
Yeah, there it is. That's a well.
But the different
I thought
waters
you were looking at rainwater collection too.
I collect it, but I need a better system. It's collected in coolers outside, and I use that for my plants.
Okay, yeah. Hmm.
Plants respond better to rainwater. I had a bunch of stuff I planted, my tomatoes, my peppers, all of the things. And what I realized is that when they're not getting the electrical charge from the rainwater, they perform
Hmm.
differently. And so I left for a couple of days. I came back. It had been raining the whole time. My tomato plants, everything is just happy and lush. Some of the things
Hmm.
looked like they were dying out. I even had experimented with some grape seeds. Left them. I just left them in some dirt. I looked up. It had been raining. The grape seeds finally sprouted. They had been in cold stratification for months. I just keep them in the refrigerator, and then I put them in dirt, and they
Hmm.
sprouted. And so rainwater, well water, alkaline water. Down here where I live, this is a water town. This is home of the crazy water. And so the water down here is rich in lithium. Lithium is good for your central nervous system. It keeps you calm. And so a lot of people used to come to this town to heal their children and family members with ailments. And they gave credit to the water. And so I just make sure that I have well water in my house. I don't really drink bottled water because I have researched that as well, but I do cook with it. I prefer bottled water over some tap water when you talk about cooking. But just try
Hmm.
to drink high quality water. You can't stress it enough. Can't stress it enough. And Brother Jamal, do you drink? I mean, Brother Butts, do you drink tap water where you live?
No, and and they say it's strange because people always say St. Louis, Missouri has some of the best uh tap water in the country, and I'm like,
Really?
I'm not in my world. I don't believe so.
Right.
Doesn't it? When I did try it when I first came here, it didn't taste like it. Yeah, yeah, I'm a spring water
Mm-hmm.
purchaser, and and even in that in label reading, it's got to be the water
Mm-hmm.
alone. I don't want it with the sodium benzoate or anything like that. I do drink a lot of uh sparkling water as well, but
Okay.
not the ones that have any kind of infusion to it. What if I'm looking for two ingredients: water,
Mm-hmm.
or three at the most: water, carbonated, and the essence of lemon lime, the essence of guava, something like that. 0 calories, zero this. If it's not 000, it's not as pure as it possibly can be. And that's that the sparkling water has probably been the biggest injection into my uh, eating lifestyle change, as it were,
Mm-hmm.
to really offset drinking sodas. And I know I was a big soda person, but juices, um, yeah, juices and Gatorade. That's what I said. What's the other one I did used to drink Gatorade way back, but um, yep, that's it for me for water. I don't collect my water.
Mm-hmm. You don't collect it?
Some canned sparkling water. or glass in a glass sparkling water, you know.
So do you because I know growing up people used to boil water thinking that they were purifying it, and then as an adult now you know it just changes the composition of the chemicals that they're putting in the water. So even that is out. Do you drink boiled
And
water?
deeper than that though, Miss Pitt, because there is a benefit to reducing some of the toxins that are in water by boiling it,
Uh-huh.
but then you you still only able to use some of the water because you can't pour it, because all it really does is a little bit of it burns off, yes, but most of it settles on the bottom of whatever you were boiling it in.
Oh.
So if you boil the water, then pour all the boiled water and everything at the bottom into your container, you're getting it right back.
Mm-hmm. And see, for my plants, um, I've learned now I keep my plant water in a glass jar, just like I drink out of personally. And if you let the water sit for a week or two, all of the stuff that they add to it evaporate up out of it, and you can see that
Hmm.
residue on the containers or whatever. But so that's what I do for my plants. When you watering plants with tap water, let the water
Hmm.
sit. You're not pouring. Speaking of that, how are your plants? How are your
Yeah,
plants?
yeah.
They're alive.
No, you got it, and you can see if you ever want to see it, you really want to see it.
Mm,
Just take your water and before you, as you pour it into your glass, strain it with some cheesecloth and
mm,
watch what you collect.
mm. So you collected
Just
some stuff
watch.
in your cheesecloth, in cheesecloth.
You watch the impurities that are in the water, the tap water. If you just strain it through some cheesecloth. I'm not saying the water will be purified. I'm just saying if you ever want to see,
What's in
you
there?
ever want to see just how bad most water is out of the tap, put a little white cheesecloth over your glass, pour it through that, and watch what you see,
Mm-hmm.
what you collect. Mm. All right, we dropped off, but yeah, hydration was a big part of this particular chapter. And for those that, whether you yeah, water hydration, I guess primarily the best. There are a lot of schools of thought these days that think HLO is better than I'm sorry, H3O is better than H2O, and getting your hydration for better cellular health can be better derived from your watermelon, your melons, honeydew melons, and such. And if you juice it, um, and there's a couple of blends out there, like you just said. If you're ever interested, say H3, look up H3O and see what kind of information you collect to help improve your health.
Mm-hmm.
Jamal M is
So,
here with Miss Nina Pitts on alchemical changes, the book club. We've been reading chapter 12, The Cell Body, from Master Yao and Morris's The Holy Grail of Orgasm.
and I was just looking to see
Any
if you had any comments. I don't see any
I
new
was just about to
comments.
ask you that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So I don't see any new comments. I see that you all are out there watching and following along. I appreciate the views being up and the watch time, the hours being up. Appreciate all the support. I understand that you all don't always have time to comment. Some people are listening at work, whatever. We appreciate the support. If you can comment, then go ahead and leave a comment. We will answer the comments or look at them in the following week live after we finish reading. I am just looking here. Welcome to the new subscribers. Welcome back to the YouTube family. I see you all out there.
Mhm.
And we're gonna shout out those channels. Let me see the recent subscribers. Okay, hold on.
All right.
So, shout out to Mickey's Adventures and Ancestors Talk Back. Thank you for your new subscriptions. And if you're here for the book club, as I said, just go ahead and leave us a little comment. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. We pretty much covered everything in this chapter. It wasn't a long chapter. Again, chapter 13 will be next week, which is the spiraling protocol for the high level orgasm, or the HLO. I see that we do have two people here with us. If you all have any questions, just go ahead and drop them in the comment section. Should be on the right panel of your screen. If you have you want to join, just go ahead and drop that in the comment section. We can see that as well. But he just went over a lot of things that affect your HLO, like the municipal water and the um corn syrup, processed foods, um, heavy processed meats, of course. We all know that. Um, what else did he speak? Oh, and he spoke about the hormones. He gave us the supporting amino information. And then he
Mhm.
also gave us the display of what that would look like if those hormones were out of balance, and the dysfunction, what that dysfunction looks like. And so with that, that was everything that covered the cell body. He's last week we spoke on the we had a lot of charts. Did the charts go up last week? I don't remember.
I was just about to ask you if you were going to be able to put those charts from this week up whenever you get a chance.
Yeah, I can put those up. Matter of fact, since we got so much time left, let me throw them up now. Um, it's
We
not a
got one
whole.
minute left. What are you talking about time?
We got 1 minute left.
Oh, it's 1 minute to 11. Well, I think. Yeah, 10:59.
Oh, well, the timer on StreamYard saying something else. But either way, me and
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
yeah, me and brother Bless, we still gonna check out anyway. It's like no need to ramble. The chapter was not that long. I'm gonna go ahead and throw the chart up though while we're still here,
Mhm.
and that way, that way you all can see what Master Morris is speaking on instead of us. Because I know I'm visual. I'm a visual learner. Instead of you trying to just And so what I'm gonna do is just throw this up right quick. That'll be our last couple of moments. And again, thanks for coming to our Chemical Changes Book Club. We are almost out of this book. We have two more chapters. This is only 14 chapters for this book. And so
Mhm.
it has been a good one. It has been way more than I thought it was. I thought, like I said, I had the book. I had the book for a minute, and I was kind of afraid to read it because I didn't want anything to be out there that was too sexual, and it just ended up not being that at all. And
Yeah.
so, you want to share your socials, your social media?
Uh, JAY, capital B period, and then RHYTHM JB or Jamal M Butts on Facebook. Same thing at Jamal M Butts on Instagram. You know the rest. Get one, you'll find them all. They're all synced and connected. Uh, yeah, feel free to follow, like, subscribe, check out some of my series, Reservations for One, and the isness of it, if you will. Some spoken word as well as some recipes that I enjoy or have enjoyed.
Okay. Do you
Uh,
have any upcoming things that you're
you
doing?
know, nothing specific because I'm actually if anybody's been watching, you see my background is different today because
Okay.
I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina this weekend, and I'll be headed back to Missouri tonight, but I'll only be there about 36, 38 hours or so before I'm headed out to good old San Juan, Puerto Rico,
Okay.
for about a week. So maybe I'll do some tropical vacation uh
Okay.
recipe not recipes. I'm not cooking while I'm there, but some tropicals and Caribbean food pictures when I go to a couple of restaurants.
Okay. And so, are you gonna be here next week?
I'm gonna have everything I need for next Sunday. I am.
Okay. And if not, I say enjoy your vacation. Because if it was me, it'd be a big no. It'd be like, nah, I'm gonna enjoy Puerto Rico. Okay. Okay.
Mm,
But if you
Unless something changes, I do plan on carving out the time to go ahead and continue with you. Yeah.
okay. All right, so I'm just
Hmm.
pulling up the chart, and we're gonna go on and get out of here once I share this, y'all. This is just the chart that I was reading today. Can you all see that? Yes. Okay. Let's hide that.
There it is. Okay.
So this is the hormone chart. You all can screenshot it and look over it yourselves. I will also post this on the YouTube platform. That way you all can have it for reference. But then other than that, y'all, we're gonna go ahead and go.
All right. Appreciate you all being with us. Have a fabulous day and a great week. See you next week.
All right, peace and power, y'all, and we are out.
Ouch.